Welcome to this week's SV Lynx video. Well, we have finally reached a major milestone. After 11 months of hard work, we're about to complete the hardest portion of this build, which is the canoe portion of the hulls. We're just about there.
Right. So in this video, we're going to flip those hulls over, and that means that we can start the assembly of the boat finally. Because we've been working on various pieces of it over these last 11 months, and the majority of that, say 6 months of that, has been on these canoes. And now we can start putting it all together, and it'll start taking the shape of a catamaran. And the first step to that is getting these hulls flipped over. And we're also reversing them on the lot at the same time. And we went into reasons for that in another video. But we do have to flip them around and flip them over. And so early this week, we're going to get things prepped for that. We've got some things we've got to do to get it ready, and we'll show you that in the video. And at the very end of the week, we're going to flip them over. Now, there is a forecast of rain for that day, but rain or shine, we've got a whole team of people coming, and we're going to do it that day no matter what.
Yes.
So, let's head over to the lot, and I'll start showing you some of what we're doing. What were you going to say?
Before we do that, I just wanted to add a personal note. I'm not going to be present on the day that this really tough, hard work happens, because I've started a second part-time consulting job to help us get through financially. So that's why I'm going to be missing from this really important day. I really want to be there, but other things have come along.
Right, where we're behind on our budget for this boat, and the Admiral here is making up the difference for us, so we really appreciate that. But we'll soldier on without her on the day we're flipping those hulls over. And there will come a point where she's back to work with us on the lot. But for the moment, she's working 2 jobs, so she's got to do that. So anyway, let's head over and I'll show you what we're doing this week, and then we'll get to that big moment. Today we are taking out some of our MDF supports here, because these were really put in to form the shape of the hull, and we don't need all of these to hold this anymore. The hull's shape is done, but they're in the way of us getting in here and sanding off all of this excess that you can see squeeze out. And so if you look behind me here, it's a lot more open in here, and all we did is leave a square area to hold the hull, and then one up at the bow there for support. And then we'll do the same thing here. There's just going to be one pair of them here, and then one at the very stern, just to support the hull while we're working in here. But it's kind of fun, because we're doing demo here. I'm getting rid of some of these MDF pieces and such. Now these 2x4s you see going across here, these are some ones that we put in that were measured precisely as to the width of this hull supposed to remain, so that it doesn't bow out while we're doing various things. So we have seen some supports like that across, just to hold the shape of the hull after these forms are out, until we get it in the boat. So those will be staying not only now, but while we're rolling the hulls, while we're doing a lot of work, until the bulkheads are attached and glassed in, which will then hold the shape of this. Then these 2x4s can all come out. All right, so all of the MDF that we're going to take out is out. There's this little cube left, another cube there, and then a little bit on the two ends as we anticipated. And this is still plenty stable, no movement at all. So it's plenty good to hold this while we get underneath and start grinding off the squeeze out. So we're going to take our two of our grinders and get up under there. But that's going to be one dusty job. So that's what we're going to do with this plastic here. We're going to put it over the hull to trap the dust inside so that it's not blowing off into some neighbor's yard here, because it's going to be a lot. And we'll suit up in full suits and masks and all that stuff, get light in there so that we can see, and sand it in a very hot environment. So this is how you lose weight. You get in there in a hot spot inside of a suit and you sweat off about 10 pounds in doing this. So why aren't we doing this after we flip the hulls? That was the original plan. But being as we're a little bit behind on this project, I don't want to waste any more time. So we're waiting for, we had to wait a couple weeks to flip these over so that we have the Bobcat available. When Brian, he's back from his cruise, but we're waiting for this coming Saturday, which is like 3 days from now. And we're going to flip those at that point. But rather than just sit around for 3 days waiting to flip these, we can get most of this squeeze out sanded off if we do it now the hard way. Meaning hard way is trapped inside there with all that dust and holding a sander above our heads. But it at least doesn't lose any time for us. And so that's what we're going to do. Now, Saturday, there are some showers forecast in the weather report. Not rain, but some showers. And probably not till the afternoon, but you never know. So we decided to go ahead and flip the hulls and rotate them even though there might be some showers. It's just that, again, we just cannot lose any more time. So we'll live with that. And Brian and I have already figured out how to cover these canoes when they're flipped over so that they're not going to collect mass amounts of rain. Because it is supposed to rain on and off, showers, for the next 7 to 10 days here and there. It won't rain every day, but there might be a shower one day or a couple days later, another shower. So we'll get these flipped over on Saturday. We'll cover them with plywood on top. We'll put plastic over that. No water will get in, or what it does will be such a tiny amount, it doesn't matter. And that'll keep us going. Sometimes we tent it for rain. This time it's tented for dust collection inside. It'll settle, and once it all settles in there, we'll take the vacuum in and vacuum it up before we take off the cover. Well, as you can see, Nick is back, and we've given him one of the most disgustingly difficult and hot jobs that we will have to do on this whole boat, which is grinding away that excess epoxy on the inside with a black covering over it. It's probably 110 degrees inside that hull right now. And of course you're holding that 4-pound sander, angle grinder, above your head half the time. And you can't see because there's so much dust in there much. And you have to put a light in there because it's dark from the plastic. So it's a nasty job, and I'm not going to let them do it for too much longer because I don't want them to get heat stroke. So what we're doing is we have 2 sanders and 3 people, so we're spelling each person after a few minutes, and he's been going for maybe 15 minutes here, so it's just about time for me to spell him. Need a break, Nick? All right, but don't get heat stroke in there. Meanwhile, Brian's here at the bow. So today, we're prepping for flipping the hulls over tomorrow. That means that we got a lot of things to move because we need all this space. And so these cubes and those ones up against the gate there, they've all got to go out of here. And we've got to sweep up some of this gravel. So that's what we're up to. And we're also going to be fixing some of the rain covers today, ready for on Saturday and Sunday when it's probably going to rain after we flip these over and we don't want them to become bathtubs. All the cubes over there because the place we have to go out with the canoes is right there. So we'll be turning here and heading them out to about the center right there. So we just need to get all this stuff out of the way. So we got one more that we're going to set aside over here. We did this one last because we need that piece of plywood right there later. So we're going to have this one most accessible. Now we got to get the trailer in here. I'll explain about the trailer and all that shenanigans later, but it's how we're going to get these canoes moved. All the wood we're bringing in right now is what we're going to create a hard top across the top of these hulls once they're flipped over. So we're going to prep those today so that tomorrow, when we're moving these hulls around and everything, we don't have to be doing work on lumber. And also, it's very possible that it might be showers now and then, so we would like to get it done today where the sky is nice. All this is because the city wouldn't let us keep our tunnel tent. We've been all set for this. All right, ready for tomorrow. So our next thing is the plywood's not going to reach across here because this is wider than a sheet of plywood. So I'm going to check by how much. 5 feet. That means we have to extend the width of our pieces of plywood if they're going to act as a cover that we cover with plastic and keep the rain off. It's a big day, a momentous day for us, a huge milestone. It's time to flip these hulls over, or really we should say roll them over, because you'll see how that works. But before we roll them over, we're going to turn them around, and that's actually the difficult part, the most difficult, because they can't fit inside this lot to turn around, and we don't want to bring a crane in, so we're taking them out into the street and doing a 3-point turn with each one and bringing it back in and then rolling them. So we're going to show you all that. And of course, as I mentioned, we've got a little rain going on, but rain or shine, we're building a boat. So Dale's over here raking up gravel so that when we roll the hull, we're not rolling on rocks so much. And got Brian coming in with the Bobcat right now, and we're going to lift the first hull here and just going to get it up off of the forms so that we can take all of these forms apart, and that way we can get our trailer in here underneath of it. So right now what's going on is, now that we've got this suspended up here, we're getting all the forms out and we're taking the platform completely apart, because we're going to be using the top of this platform to protect, help protect against the rain filling up inside of here. So we've got to take this apart. We had to take it apart anyway because we got to get the trailer in underneath of it, so it had to go either way. We got all the forms out all the way down. Now we're just cleaning this up a little bit, and they're pulling all the screws out so we can get these plywood pieces off. First plywood piece is off, but we got 5 more to get unscrewed and off of there. So now we're taking all the joists apart that we've got the plywood off. And I'll be close to taking this hull out of here soon. So what we're doing now is we're going to back the whole boat away to get a little bit off these cement pads. But we can only go back about 4 feet or we run into the other hull, so that's as much as we can do. Okay, do you need me to tell you how close you are? I can see a little bit. Okay. All right, so we've set the pallet that's underneath it here onto the trailer, and now he's going to back the Bobcat up so that we can get this wheeled out of here. You can come up with the forks a little bit, get over the tire, but you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to stay here right now. Just bring this up about 3 inches, 4 inches. That's good. Yeah. Fold this out. Yikes. All right, is that going to hold you? Okay. All right, so now we need to get everybody on this hull, because what we're going to try to do is we're going to have to roll this thing. Okay, you guys are going to bring the tire out to about here, and then you're going to pivot, sort of. Okay, watch that. Yeah, keep going like that. Now start to turn a little bit. Hang on, not that much. You got to go straight. All right, now start to turn a little. Not too much. Keep going back. You got to go almost to the tree. All right. Now we want to pivot. What? Do you need help?
No, it's just getting a little low. I didn't
Yeah.
sliding off.
Careful about grabbing that one. Grab out here. This is what I said. When I said they just barely makes it, it just barely makes it. We're good though. We did it. All right, so just over on the side of the road here. Don't laugh. We're going to be taking it out the street to turn it around eventually.
Taking it out the street?
We have to. There's no way to turn it around in here.
We're going to the ocean.
We're going to the ocean. People ask us how we were going to get the boat to the water. Here we are.
It'll take a while.
It's only 30 miles. All right, so we're just going to leave this hull out on the street here. And these guys just wanted to go ahead and take it all the way to the water and we'd be done. But no, we're going to leave it here for now. All right, one semi-precariously pitched hull sitting here on some pallets. And we got to get the other one out because it has to go out, get reversed around and come back in and roll it all before this one comes back in. So off we go. Hole number 2. Do we have enough room for the fence to make it? Oh, I'm going to get a measuring tape. I don't want to guess. 11 feet. All right, we're good. So in we go. Next thing that's happening is we're going out, we're going to the street, we're turning it around, we're coming right back in here again, and we're going to set it down on the ground here, and then we're going to roll it over, pick it up, and set it in the cradles. Those aren't the cradles. Cradles are in there. Okay, and now it's raining like crazy. Great. We continue because we must. All right, so we need the trailer in there. That's our next phase. And if you wonder why we didn't build this way to begin with, there's a video where we talked about that, which you can go watch. I'll see if I can link it up here for you. Now in that video I did mention that the only way we could really flip these hulls around was to use a crane. Well, that was not actually true. We took a look at an overhead view and I put the boat hulls in there. As you can see here, I moved them on paper, I guess you could say, and made sure that there was a way to 3-point turn these things. And since it seemed to work on paper, that's why we're here doing it this way today. All right, the next stage is we've got to lift the canoe, bring it over and set it into the cradles on here. So we've made some special strap connections on the ends of these tines onto the forklift. Brian welded those together for this, and that allows us to create a little sling around this thing to lift these canoes over, bring them in, drop them down. All right, so these are the rain covers that we built the other day. And they're just to support it while we put some plastic over it so that the water doesn't pool down in there. We've still got to put the ones up at front, but we thought we'd throw some on here because we're starting to get a little sprinkles. But meanwhile, we're going to grab the other hull and it's time to bring it in. Right there. But we're going to have to do this one a bit differently because it's not enough room between the two hulls to do the same technique we did for rolling it. So we're going to roll it a sling method this time. Now we're getting the trailer positioned back in again. That worked out well as a pivot point right in the center of the hull. And check and make sure they're getting this right. Okay, the wheel should be centered on the wheel should be go forward. All right, about there.
As you can see, there just wasn't enough room to roll the second hull like we did the first one because there wasn't enough room for the Bobcat to get in and out with that. So we had to keep the hull right where it was when we brought it in on the trailer. And so the only way to do that was to rotate it in position. And so we used these slings underneath and just a lot of human power to roll it over.
That was way more exciting than we really wanted it to be, but nothing broke and it did rotate, so all's well that ends well. So our batteries cut out right before we put the last cradle on and then just covered the two canoes. So that's all that we really missed on that. But you can see all we did is take people and hold the end up and slide that cradle on and set it down into it. And then we covered both of the hulls and put plastic on it like this. We've already started uncovering this one this morning. But the plastic worked. Not a drop of water got inside of either hull, even though the very next day, it rained and hailed in like bird egg sized pieces, came crunching down for quite some time. And so it was a ton of rain. You can see the ground is still wet here. So that's the end of flipping and rotating the hulls. We got it done. There was no damage to either hull. And they're in position. That went great. I want to thank all of our crew who came out and helped, and I'll list all their names here because they spent a day in a stormy, rainy day working their butts off in the mud, getting our canoes flipped around and flipped over. So thanks again to all of our crew.
So we did it, rain and all, more rain than we expected. The crew, everybody that helped us, we got those hulls flipped and rotated, and we are so happy.
Yeah, I'm so happy that it's over with. It was a hard day, and I can't thank the people who showed up to help us enough. But there were a lot of troubles, and like Marianne mentioned, that there was more rain than we expected. So by the time we were getting towards the end of it with that second hull, we were walking through mud puddles and such. But we got it done. We got them all covered, and so no rain got in,
Yep.
and or very little from when we were actually moving them. But as soon as they were in place, we got them covered, so very little got in there. And we're going to be moving on now next week to prepping the inside of those hulls for the bulkheads. And so we're about to get assembly started, and that's going to be very exciting. Now, at the beginning of this video, we mentioned that you know, we're having some budgetary problems and the Admiral's working, but we also, to help with that, started some crew gear. You saw a hat in the video that I was wearing, and this is one of our shirts. So if you'd like to show your support as one of the SV Lynx crew, you can always pop over to our website, and there's an online store there which you can find under gear. So there'll just be a few things to start with, but we may add some more later on. But even if you don't want to do that, thank you so much for even watching these videos, because that even helps us quite a bit. And we'd also like to thank our patrons for their support of all these videos, and that helps as well.
Yes. Thank you to the viewers. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the bell icon to be notified of our next video.
Yeah. And the next thing you're going to see us doing next week is going to be some nasty, difficult, hot work. You'll see when you watch the video. See you then.
Bye.